What's up, YouTube? Welcome back for a tier list guide of set 7 Dragonlands. So for this set, it's a very fun set. You have a lot of dragons. You have 10 cost champions, 8 cost champions, all new synergies, all new champions. So it can get pretty confusing, but I'm going to show you my favorite top 5 comps to climb to masters this set. For the first one, something I played a lot, I really like enjoying, is playing Ryze Mages. 5 mage 3 trainers is what I think is probably the easiest way to top 4 with Ryze. I mean, mages and pretty much all the comps in this set are very flexible. You can pretty much pick you can like slot in, depending on your augments, you can slot in any synergies or any champions, and you have a lot of variations. Here's a very easy level 8 board. If you econ well, get to level 8, roll down. You know, assuming 3-star Ryze would be the strongest version, but you do not need a 3-star Ryze if you don't hit a lot of Ryzes early. So if you don't have 5 Ryzes by the time you hit stage 4 or 4-5, then I wouldn't even try it. It's not worth your econ. You're going to get your 5 mages with Heimerdinger, Ryze, Silas, and Lilia. And then if you have a mage spat, you can easily slot in pretty much anything you want. For level 8, it's really easy to slot in Siphon. And then you can put an Ornn for extra frontline and extra CC. You don't have to play 3 trainers, so you can take out Tristana. But early game, 3 trainers help you save a lot of health, and it also makes Namzi scale a lot faster. You definitely, for any AP comps, especially Ryze, Shojin is definitely best in slot. Blue buff won't really give you a lot of value. You definitely want to do Shojin. A healing item would be nice, and then any AP item as a third item. And then Lulu items could be Redemption, Chalice, and then pretty much any utility items. And then Ionic Spark is going to be really strong when you play pretty much most of the comps in set 7, or especially mages when everybody's doing AP damage. For the next one is 6 Mirage. You can play 3-star Yone. Rageblade, i.e. Hodge, I think is best in slot, but Yone can use a lot of items. He does AD and AP damage, so but I would focus more on the AD side. I wouldn't go like JGIE. Probably won't be too bad if you plan on moving away from Yone late game anyways. But if you have the duelist trait with Mirage that gives you extra attack speed, then Rageblade is not as important. You can do RFC, and then Yone, if you get Yone with RFC with the duelist synergy, it's pretty much a fast 8 from that spot, because Yone is going to be protected behind his front line. He would never get bursted down by the other team. But if you don't have the duelist trait, then Rageblade is really important. Same thing for Deja. Once you slot in Deja, if you have the duelist trait, Rageblade isn't as important. You can do just pretty much all AP items, or yeah, pretty much Deja scales with AP, so if you can just slam as much AP items. JGIE is also pretty well, crit with every auto attack. When she casts her ability, she does 3 auto attacks that does a significant amount of magic damage. So IJG, Hodge, or Gunblade, or you can just do Rageblade and then some AP items. Or you can also like Hextech Gunblade, because Hextech Gunblade is better for backline units because they don't get bursted down as easily, while BT is a lot better for frontline units or bruisers, because they definitely can benefit from the shield that procs once they get to 40% health. Yeah, so once they get down to 40% health, that shield might be the difference of a win or loss. And then you just pretty much play 6 Mirage, and then for all my comps, I always just slot in Ornn, but you can pretty much slot in anything you want. You can also slot in 4 Whisperers. If you don't find Deja, you can put in Siphon, or you can put in more Guardians. Guardians is a very good front line. 2 Warriors, I feel like, is really good with Yone, because he has a chance to do a lot of damage, a lot of burst damage. So I'll always try to slot in at least 2 Warriors if you're playing Yone, and then late game you can always put in Yasuo to try to get a first. For the third comp is everybody's favorite, 4 Invokers, Mage Asol. So if you get a Mage spat early game, this could be a really strong late board game. I would say Invokers isn't really strong or important early game, but once you get to level 9, once you start slotting in Invokers, or even level 8, once you start slotting in 2 Invokers or 4 Invokers, your comp gets really strong really fast. And then Bard, Sona, Ornn, they all CC. If you can slot in a Nico too, this comp is also really strong if you have an Invoker emblem or Invoker heart. That way you can take out Anivia, which Anivia doesn't really do too much. Doesn't really help this comp that much. She's just a synergy bot, pretty much another frontline or another person that does CC. Because the whole point of ASOL is that if they're unable to fight back, ASOL pretty much just wipes them off the board. And you don't need AP items or ASOL, since his ability just naturally gains AP with AV cast. So really you just want him to heal and then also cast as fast as possible. So Invokers and Shojin is pretty much good enough. And then if you get that hat, then you get to this part, you 2-star this whole team and you're pretty much guaranteed first. So this is a high roll comp. And then here we go. This isn't more of a quirky carry, but I show you some my favorite items of quirky. You can also do speed items, but I don't know if I think I like full 80 items a little more. I think it's a little bit more consistent than speed items. But the only reason I'm including this comp is assuming you have a Revel emblem, because Revel emblem is probably the strongest emblem in the game. So if you get a Revel emblem, you can throw it on Anivia. Anivia is really strong with it. You can throw Deja. So like these 3 units, Sona, Anivia, and Deja are probably the strongest units with the Revel spat. Anivia and Deja are the strongest units with a Revel spat. What I found in the PBE is that Anivia Revel or Deja Revel pretty much means instant top 3 and probably a top 2. And then you can itemize Corki if you want, if you get an early Corki, but I would just itemize one of these 2 with pretty much any AP items, probably just speed items in general. Shojin, Rage Blade, good things like that. Definitely want to try to make sure you have a decent frontline before trying to like, you can take out Tristana or you can take out Jinx if it means your frontline's lacking. None of these comps matter if you don't have a decent frontline. Last comp is 6 Jade 3-star Anivia. I think a lot of people forgot about this comp because after playing the PB for a while, people kind of got tired of playing 6 Jade, but 6 Jade is very, very strong. Shiryu is a very good tank and does a lot of damage. You put in Nico with all the tank items, give Shiryu a good amount of 80 items with BT, and then he would do a lot of damage. And he's already naturally tanky, and with the statues for extra healing, you don't need tank items for Shiryu. I mean, if you don't have anybody else to put tank items on, you can put on Shiryu, but he's a little better with full 80 items. And then Anivia, you want to put all the AP items. Shojin, Cap, Gunblade, all pretty good. And then here's your backline is typically, if at level 8, if you hire a Bard, you can throw in Bard, Sona, and then probably Ashe is probably where you want to be. Karma is not really gonna much in this comp, and then I just threw an Ornn for extra CC and tankiness. If you guys are wondering what you want to start, if you want to start bow, you can do the AD comps. So you can do Shio, you can do Rage Blade, you can do Yone, you can play Aoshin late game, Tempest. Those are all good bow starts. Or you can do sword or tier start, and then you can try to play like into ASOL, you can play into Anivia, you can play into Mages. So those are all the starts. So if you do sword of start, sword of tier, Ryze, ASOL, and then Anivia. And then if you want to do bow start, you can play Yone, Deja, pretty much the Tempest comps. And then you can also try to play Corki or Revo Cannoneers pretty much. And then there's been last minute changes to the meta. They took out Astra Emblem. I'm not quite sure why they took out Astra Emblem, but Astra Emblem gave a lot of AP to whoever you gave it to. So Astra Emblem was actually very strong, probably hidden OP. They nerfed Ezreal. So Ezreal, Fast 9 Ezreal is not going to be as viable anymore. They nerfed Heimerdinger with the stun. This definitely hurts your early game. So if you're trying to play mages early game, I would try not to play mages until pretty much stage 3. Stage 2 mages, if you're trying to play with Heimer, you're usually going to lose too many games. Set being buff means that if you try to play Rage Ring with Senna set, you definitely have a good chance to win streak. With Kayn being buff, a lot of the range rings are getting buff, Shen's getting nerfed, but that shouldn't affect the meta too much. He's still going to be very, very tanky. He's getting bonus MR. So yeah, so Shen's stun is going down, but his MR is going up. So pretty much I showed you all the tier lists, what the tier list was before this patch, and looking like you guys can read over the patch yourself. But pretty much Invokers and Asoul pretty much got nerfed, and I think Corki got nerfed, and then Elise got buffed a little bit, and some of the Rage Ring units got buffed. Let's look at my current tier list before. So here's my current tier list before the patch, but with the new patch, Invokers might go down to A, but Revel Spat still going to be pretty strong. I don't think they nerfed Corki, but they didn't really nerf Revel too much. Alright, well, I gotta change a lot of this tier list last second, to be honest. I think Invokers are gonna be kind of shit now. I wanted to restart how I said the tier list because I think I was a little jumbled. This is my tier list for when the set 7 goes live. So this is including all the nerfs and buffs. So Revel Spat, they nerf Revel, but I feel that it's still gonna be really strong if you get the spatula. Revel without the spatula, I feel like it's not going to be as strong. You can still play Sona carry with Revel, which is going to be good, but if you try to play Corki carry, they just nerfed it too many times. And even though Corki has had a high top 4 rate, I think it's just because he was there for synergy and not when he was the actual carry. 10 cost champs are just going to be strong in general. I used to have Shyvana here, but now I think Asoul got nerfed way too hard. That unless you have Mage Asoul and unless you have 9 Astrals, I think Asoul is just not going to be as strong. I feel like you have to high roll Asoul a little too hard now instead of usually 10 cost champions. If you get one of them, you usually get stabilized, even 1 star. The balancing with 10 costs are going to be a little hard, so I don't envy the dev team. Invokers got nerfed, but I think they're still pretty strong. If you go level 9 and throw in Invokers, you're gonna pretty much wipe the lobby. 3-star Yone, they didn't touch Mirage, and Mirage is gonna pretty much dominate the meta along with Dragomancers. They just buffed Dragomancers, so 3-star Lee Sin carry, 3-star Swain, 3-star Volibear, they're all gonna be very strong. I think Lee Sin's the funniest one. I think if you want to go pretty much uncontested, Lee Sin is going to be pretty easy to hit 3-star compared to everybody's pretty much going to hold Swain. So I wouldn't really go for 3-star Swain some games because it's going to be kind of contested. Deja is a very good carry. So if you don't 3-star Yone, or if you can push levels and get to 2-star Deja, either way, Deja, Yone pretty strong. You put in Yasuo late game to really round out your comp. But yeah. Also, if you play Deja carry, I mean, pretty much all the synergies are pretty good. If you have the electrocute one, I forgot what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. If you get the electrocute one, then I would not play 6 Mirage. I would pretty much try to play maybe 2, pretty much, yeah, 2 or 4 Mirage is fine. 6 Mirage is just it's not worth playing 6 Mirage when you have the electrocute trait. 6J, 3-star Nivea. This one's just gonna be super easy. If you hit this, it's most likely gonna be a top 4. It's really easy to play. You hit it early at Nivea. Nivea is not as strong as she used to be, so 1-star Nivea isn't gonna fast 9. But you get to level 8, you roll down. If you hit 2-star Nivea or 3-star Nivea with 2-star Shiori, and you should pretty much top 4. I think trainers is the easiest way to top 4 with 5 mages. So if you play 5 mages, I wouldn't focus mages early, but once you get to level 7, you should start putting in mages to really give your team damage. But the thing about mages is that they're too overly reliant with frontline. So if you overcompensate your frontline when you play mages, sometimes not play, which means you might want to sacrifice 5 mage and drop down to 3 sometimes. You're gonna win a lot of rounds. So as long as you focus on frontline, this comp is actually really, really strong. That means a buff to Rage Rings and a buff to Xayah in general. You don't have to play Xayah carry. You can also play 3-star Kayn, which is pretty decent as well. But pretty much if you get Scorch, you pretty much top 2. Yeah, I won't even say needs Scorch Augment. I would say Scorch Augment in general is just top 2. And then B tier is pretty much all the 3 cost units. 3 cost champs is Olaf, Diana, at least. They're pretty strong mid game, and then late game they pretty much fall off. But you know, depending on your augments and depending on how much you high roll, these might get you first. But you hit these, and I think you should be able to top 4. You just gotta hope that the lobby isn't insanely strong. Also, just I forgot about 5-6 guild. But if you play 5 guilds with offensive augments, and then you pretty much itemize Ryze, you can itemize Talon. Everybody in guild is pretty much strong. The point of playing guild is that you want to make sure that pretty much everybody in the comp is a carry. You don't want to just fully focus on one unit in guild. You want to focus on pretty much everybody. So just make sure, and when you have offensive augments, all you have to really worry about is defensive items so that your team can scale late game. And then C tier, just try to stay away from all this. 5 streamer scale is decent, but late game is terrible. You would have to high roll pretty hard for 5 streamer scale to top 4. You have to super high roll to get a top 2. 4 Revel or 4 Cannoneer Quirky carry, and you don't have any spatulas or emblems, you're not gonna top 4. I mean, maybe in some low elos you might top 4, but once people figure out the meta, this is gonna be terrible. Reroll Astros I would stay away from. 3-star Nidalee is pretty strong. 3-star Nidalee and actually 3-star Nami is pretty strong. But if you're spending too much time rolling, you're gonna lose too much health. 2-star Nidalee and 2-star Nami is strong enough, and then you can just push levels and play a stronger board late game. And then trainers are just trash now. I wouldn't even play trainers. It just trainers by itself. So reroll trainers, 3 trainers plus just like whatever splash energies. Like if you try to play 2 Invoker, 2 Cannoneer, 2 Revel, it's just you gotta kind of like, you might as well play 5 mages, or you might as well play like a full Invokers comp. Don't if Namzi is your best unit, you're gonna lose too much health. That's pretty much everything. So let me know if I left any synergies out. Let me know what you think about this tier list, if it's wrong, if it's spot on. Tell me in the comments. I like to know you guys' opinion, and then I will come out a video every week regarding what my favorite comps are, and then pretty much any high roll games that and then follow me on Twitch at IsiahYukk, like and subscribe, and I see you guys in the next video.